Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Right. Welcome, everyone. So, brand new podcast, Let's Talk Stealth. Episode 1. First thing we're going to be talking about, obviously, it's Hitman, because I'm with Mendy. Welcome, Mendy.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Not bad, mate. It's good. I know it's been a while since we've chatted, actually, as well, properly. So, it's good to be able to sit and chat with you again. I know that
For sure.
a lot of people out there might not know that me and you used to do a little podcast called That Hitman Podcast, and we used to
Yeah, true.
we used to do a lot of Hitman discussions. One of which we got some really cool stuff out of. So now I've decided I'm going to expand. I'm going to be talking about everything stealth, but this time around, me and Mendy are just going to kick it off with a Hitman discussion, and basically the topic of discussion is what we want in the game before the final patch comes in. So maybe we'll kick it off. Shall we go through the campaign?
Sure, yeah. Because we don't know when the last patch will be. Certainly, there are some things that could improve, could be fine-tuned,
Yeah,
change it, add it, removed. So we have some topics to talk about that for sure.
yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to start off with? What's happening with the campaign right now that you think we could get benefit from?
Well, I think right now Hitman and Glacier 2 engine they're at its peak. It was never better than it is right now. The
Hmm.
movement is satisfying. The physics they're good. They're very advanced. And the majority of the problems that we face, I feel like they are for like hardcore players like ourselves.
Hmm.
And but eventually that hits people that are casual players or they're getting introduced to the series. So that's my concern because you want people to not just to play the game and finish the game. I know that commercially that might make sense, but since this is a game as a live service, and we have DLCs, we have live events, and we have this kind of thing happening, we we don't want any trouble for people that are trying for the first time. I see that now we have an elusive target that even if you have only the starter pack, which is the free one, you will be able to play it.
Hmm.
So yeah, there are some things to be be careful about that.
Hmm.
To not throw away people, to not make people get okay. I don't want to play this. This is broken.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with
You
you on
know.
that. I mean, there has been a lot of broken elements in Hitman. In fact, what one of them that has been driving me crazy is how easily people can spot you through the tiniest little hole or crack in something. That's been a nightmare for like wall hacks. Like doing a fab away your only tactic on Ken Morgan. Even though he's in that boxed off little area, them fences have just the smallest little amount. And even if 1% of 47 is seen doing that fab away animation, then a run is over. Like them things have been driving me crazy for a long time. I think it would be nice to be able to have a certain percentage of 47 seen before something like that would be like an instant and the run's over. That's why the whole game has been a nightmare for wall hacking, because if there's even just a tiny little bit of space where someone can see through a floor or a wall, you're having nightmares. So
Yeah, they improved a lot about the wall hacking. They've worked on that, and it's way better. But still, some places are. still broken. They're still wall hackable, and it's notorious.
Mm.
I know that they have to direct their team for the 007 project and the fantasy one. Now, the game that's running now is Hitman.
Mm.
The game that we have access now is Hitman. And the funny thing about that kind of detection is that for some actions, it's fine to be seen part of it, but other actions is
Mm.
instant orange, instant silent assassin lost,
Yeah,
and
no.
that kind of makes no sense. That should be consistent, because if somebody sees you fiber wiring somebody, uh, the shoulder of 47, it could give you some kind of whoosh, like we call it, right? The detection meter. Uh, but if you eliminate a target with a pistol, for example, that is not a problem.
Mm.
So it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
Some actions get you caught, some other actions don't get you caught. You follow the same logic,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
It's like I said, and it's all about the percentage as well. Because I think one of the most frustrating things that I've seen in the game is when you go to Farboy or someone, and then obviously 47 has the animation to like fall back. But if you're too close to a fence or a door, 47's ass will peek through the other side of the door, and the guard will see their ass and be like, "That's suspicious looking ass. He's murdering someone." But all I can see is this ass poking through the fence. They can't even see the kill, and that's what I mean about the percentage of like of what they need to be able to see.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That could be something that could be worked on. But
Yeah, talking about the technical aspects of it, I'm not sure how hard that can be to fix or
yeah,
how that is coded exactly, because like I said, it's inconsistent. Like pistol elimination, no problem, but fiberware, big problem.
yeah, it's like
And
instant.
they're the same action.
Mm,
One gets spotted, the other doesn't.
yeah,
So those are things that I don't know how challenging they are programming those kind of things, but it should apply the same logic. It shouldn't be inconsistent, right?
yeah,
Because when we start the game, you want to play the mission, and then if you like the game, you want to do Silent Assassin, and then you want to do Silent Assassin only. But if you want to buy the DLC, if you want to buy the full experience, and you want to get involved, and you want to get involved in it, this kind of things will reach you,
mm,
even if you start casually. In a few weeks, tops, it will reach you.
mm,
This kind of inconsistency in detection and how things spread. And I'm talking about now entering a little bit in Freelancer. The detection of Haven, which is something that drives me insane
yeah, and everyone else.
because they fixed the wall hacks in Haven, pretty much all of them. But the detection is completely broken since the launch of it, and the launch of Haven was in 2019.
mm,
That was 5 years ago, and you can see a clear s- something is wrong with Haven,
yeah,
right? Something is wrong with Haven, and why?
I don't know.
Why?
Because in Hitman 2, Haven Island was pretty much up there as like nearly my all time favorite map because it works so well. But when that port happened from 2 to 3, that's when everything become broken. And I don't know if you remember, but I was actually the guy that really pushed to get Haven fixed because I literally went round every location that had every wall hack. I recorded everything and I showed IO where all of the spots were. And luckily, they managed to fix most of them. not all of them got fixed. There's still a spot in the gym area.
Oh yeah.
So if you're in the gym area, say if you're at that open window but on the outside, if you're doing anything illegal, when the guy fixing the bike turns around, he can see you. But if you go through and you're on the inside, he can't see the illegal actions. And what I was previously saying is, I think what the issue might be is because they obviously, when they were developing that, they had an idea of where things were going to go. And the big thing about that room is there's huge mirrors. And I think
Yeah.
what's happening is there's an invisible mirror in there. You know, although we can't see it, the NPCs are still getting the reflection.
Yeah.
That's why when I'm in the
Yeah.
inside, they can't see me, but when you're on the outside, they are. So there's all of these little elements there that are just slightly broken, and you know, and all of these little gaps that even though we can't see them, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a work. At the end of the day, as I talked to I was talking to Travis a few years ago, and I said we are both Hitman workers. The thing is, we try to you know to let them know what's happening and what's wrong with the game,
Mm.
problems, glitches, issues. But I always seem to care about that like 10%, and 90% was about how the tie of 47 would behave in a certain area of a certain map,
Mm.
and that's frustrating.
Yeah, because I think when it comes to things that are really game breaking and more difficult to fix, that I kind of feel like a lot of that got put on the back burner. Where the small things like maybe lines of dialogue and audio that weren't working properly, they're not really a big issue. We can live with that. But the bigger things that
Yeah.
are ruining the gameplay are the things that need the main focus. And I think that's always been the big problem with Hitman right now. Since everything got moved into Hitman 3, a lot of things got broken. Don't know if you've noticed this, but if you go to Hokkaido, where Yamazaki starts, if you go to the backside of that lift, there's no glass. I brought that up.
I haven't noticed.
There's no
I've
glass.
been playing way too much freelancer. I've been playing.
That's been like that ever since Hitman 3 first come out. There's no glass there, and I don't think anyone's noticed but me. But that's what I mean. All of these little things that like no one's really picked up on. Like
Yeah.
that might only be the PlayStation version. I don't know. It might not be the same for PC. But that's like a case of another thing that went wrong, that went over. And if something as small as a little like that long plane of glass is missing, then what else has gone wrong that we can't see? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of feel like in order to get the game back to where it was, we need to get to the root of the problem of these wall hacks. And if it's maybe not a case of fixing every little area, then maybe it's an easier fix that a certain percentage of 47 has to be seen, or 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 maybe certain animations aren't an instant spot, and you do have that whoosh effect.
Yeah.
You know.
I think from my experience, the best balance is the whoosh mechanic. How
Mm.
much they see you doing it,
Yeah, exactly.
because game has to have balance. Of obviously some things in Hitman, they're not realistic and they're not meant to be realistic because it's a game,
Mm.
and you have to have balance. So obviously there's a range of sight that in real life people would see you doing something from that range. It would be obvious to them that okay, he just shot somebody in the head. But since it's a video game and has to have balance, there's this distance, this view distance, that when it crosses that view starts to whooshes,
Mm.
right? which is fine, which is the best balance. The thing is the inconsistency.
Yeah, you need that consistency of like even sometimes with certain shots that you may do, like you'll be at a range where you can aim your gun and you'll know if
Yeah.
someone's seeing you, you're getting a. But sometimes you can be doing that and you're like, oh, I'm getting no whoosh effect, I'm fine. You can do the shot and then it's like there's no whoosh, it's just boom, and you can get spotted, and it's like, well, that shouldn't have happened because there was no indication that anyone was looking in my direction. And that's another case of like, like the game's telling you you're not being seen, but you are being seen, and you got that inconsistency. If you're in
Right.
range to be seen, there should be some indication there letting you know. So
And there are several areas that we have a problem with loud weapons. That even if you're behind a wall, you get seen instantly.
yeah,
You get spotted. So that's a problem that was never fixed. There's another thing with the detection that NPCs will the sound zones. Many of them makes no sense.
mm,
I've shown on stream and on videos a few times. For example, in Sapienza, that you can shoot any loud weapon inside the fountain in the mansion, and nobody outside hears it,
yeah,
and they are 3 meters away from you.
yeah. I know.
And I understand that there has to be sound zones, but it has does it have to be so cut and dry? Can it not be like gradual? You know?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe having a certain kind of overlap could work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
Like a fade in, fade out effect instead of cut straight up,
yeah,
because that makes it. I'm not complaining because it breaks the game.
mm,
It's just funky.
yeah. I'll agree with that. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like the two door rule for explosions, but you might have a door there and a door there, and if you're behind both, you can blow someone up. And there's only
Yeah,
people stood there, and they're kind of hear the
yeah,
explosion when really they should, but because there's two doors in the way, it won't let the sound penetrate. Same, the same kind of thing. But you kind of like see the way have designed the sound to be that way. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why it would work that way. You'd think it would just work within a certain perimeter of how loud that thing is. But
Yeah.
don't know. They have these weird cut-offs. Yeah.
But there's a there's a thing about the double door that I'm not against that because of what I was talking before about being a video game.
Yeah.
Um, and you find the loopholes, and it's fine. And we suffered this kind of problem before, finding fun things in Hitman, and those things getting to the devs, and they just remove that, killing the fun, right?
Mm.
So that's not been happening too much lately, but in 2016 especially, and in the I think before Hitman 3, that used to happen often. We would find some very fun thing, and they would remove it.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like IO's at a point now where it's the complete opposite of where they were in 2016. Because, I mean, I got a lot of hate for this, but I was talking about how I was getting annoyed because I kind of felt like IO were just constantly making the game easier and easier as time went on. But not to mention like the amount of emetic things that they brought into the game, but like other weird changes, like the one that really annoyed me the most was the change that they made to the briefcase, and it was the fact that you could put like really large weapons, like the samurai swords and axes and everyone was over the moon with this change. I think I was the only one that was really angry about it because I'm like, this is making the game too easy. There's got to be that layer of challenge. Now I think it was back in Hitman 2 and it was roundabouts the time you'll remember when trespassing wasn't illegal.
Oh yeah, you could
There
trespass
was
and get escorted out
there was some
or just
fun
disappear.
times. Now IO came out, right? I remember this like it was yesterday, and IO came out and they said, right, this is getting removed. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Now I didn't mind that. As long as you applied to the rules of following the guard and getting out, really didn't help you in terms of speed running. But I thought it was
Yeah.
a cool thing that, oh, all right, I'm not supposed to be here. All right, I'll follow you out, and then, oh crap, now I'm not where I'm supposed to be. But that sort of give you a way of, like you haven't broken Silent Assassin yet. You followed the rules, but now you've got to rethink what you're going to do. Now, see, if they could have applied some rules to that, where if you get caught once, fair enough. But if you get caught a second time, right now you really are in trouble. That kind of thing. But
Yeah.
IO came out and said, right, we think this is making the game too easy, and their words, I'm going to quote them. Silent Assassin should be a hard thing to achieve, which I was all for. I absolutely 100% agreed with that. And then they bring out an electric phone.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the people that remember the electric phone from Hitman 2. Yeah, and that you could just pop down and any target could pick it up, answer it, and die from an accident. Now that's something that they brought out after they said we want people to really work at getting Silent Assassin. This should be a hard thing to achieve. It should be an achievement. They brought out an electric phone, which luckily everyone kicked off about, and they came to. I know a lot of the casual players weren't happy about it, but they did scrap that idea for Hitman 3. But then they went crazy with emetic items. There's you sort of lost that risk versus reward, which kind of
Yeah.
annoyed me because back when it was nothing but needles, it was like I need to work out how to get this emetic or lethal needle into this target. But if I can, then I'm gonna get the benefit from that. But now it's right. I'm gonna
Yeah.
stand in this corner and I'm gonna fire this from safety, and get anyone anywhere you want. So like all of the dart and the emetic grenade stuff came in. I mean, you can even put a gadget into a briefcase and stand next to a target and just and then there you go. That he's gonna go
Yeah.
to the bathroom. Like it's like that work that you're supposed to put in is just gone. And then on top of that, they start changing things like how the briefcase works and the things that you're allowed to carry in it. It started driving me crazy. But
Yeah. About the briefcase, I've I faced this as a goofy thing for fun. I don't I
I
have
get it.
nothing against that.
I get it. I really do. From a casual player point of view, I completely understand it. But from a veteran player that wants to see Silent Assassin actually mean something, I hate it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people should be just walking in and just getting Silent Assassin willy nilly without really putting the work in, without having to think about it, without going to bed with an absolute man fuck, thinking about how the hell I'm going to do that. How the hell am I? You know what I mean? For that to really mean something, you want to be putting that work in. You really want to be thinking about it. You want to be. Like if I do it this way, if I do it that way, maybe it's going to take a couple of days, maybe it's going to take a week, but to finally get that feeling once you're like, yes, I finally got that Silent Assassin, that old feeling that you used to have, if I finally done it.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's been lost, and that achieving Silent Assassin really isn't an achievement anymore because it's because the game's become so easy. I'd like to see that challenge come back. It's maybe to the point of maybe if people are just playing it on professional, you can have things work a certain way, and if you want to do it on master difficulty, you could really start putting the challenges in. Like maybe you can't start with a large item in
Yeah.
the briefcase. Maybe you know certain things don't work a certain way to add that layer in. I think the only real challenging part of master difficulty right now is a couple of extra cameras and the fact that they can hear your footsteps, and that's it. There's not much. There's not much more difference. And
Yeah.
once you've got that floor, playing master difficulty is pretty much like playing professional anyway. And I think hopefully we could get that extra layer of challenge back into master difficulty. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I don't think they ever found the right spot for ever since they introduced the professional mode in 2016.
Yeah.
Because when they introduced that in 2016, it was broken and unfair. Because they ramp it up so much the detection that you would have ghost detection. You would have it was a broken mode,
Mm,
and you would have to learn that. It would have to circumvent the problems that shouldn't be yours as a player.
yeah.
And with the launch of Hitman 2 and the launch of Hitman 3 and the progression of Glacier and the progression of the game, they dump it down the game. The like you said, the briefcase and the medics and this kind of thing, they dump it down a lot. But I think that this is a matter of who makes the calls regarding balance.
Yeah.
Because in 2016, for example, in my opinion, it was harder to get Silent Assassin, but at
Mm,
the same time, the target couldn't spot you, even if the target would be dead half a second later.
yeah.
Or if there was two targets, if you exploded a C4 in the middle of the two and they're facing each other or one are seeing each other, you would lose Silent Assassin equally.
Yeah.
So those things wouldn't make sense. They would make it harder, but they wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then they changed that from Hitman 2 and on. But on the other hand, at the same time that in 2016 targets couldn't spot you, you could do frontal knockouts, for example.
Mm,
You wouldn't be compromised. You could get in front of an NPC and hammer the NPC in the head, pop, and
yeah.
that would be still Silent Assassin.
I,
So
I don't.
it's a challenging. If you think about it, it's a challenging thing to keep the game evolving and moving forward, and keep the balance or try to establish a balance,
Mm,
right? I understand some of the moves that they try, and I give them the credit for the things that they try, but some things can and should be changed for balance.
I do agree with the change of even if the target sees you and then you kill them, that you still get to keep Silent Assassin.
That
Because,
never made change to me. That never made sense to me.
well, there's no witness. And if no one's seeing you, and if no one else is seeing you do it, that's a change that I didn't mind. Now, it did make it more challenging, and I think there was a lot of people that were pissed that that change came in, because once again, they felt like that maybe made the game too easy. But from a realistic point, it does make sense, and it does kind of give you a bit more leeway. Now, I'm fine when it comes to leeway. So that really never bothered me too much. I
Yeah,
think,
I feel like the always when I think about this case, I feel like they try to balance by just pretty much eliminating the leg shot KO or frontal knockouts.
yeah,
but I don't know if it's to compensate that or not, or if it's just a decision separated. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think maybe they were looking at. God, you got to think back. Like back then, I mean, back in 2016, it was to be able to like pulling them selling assassin runs off. I think 2016 was probably the most difficult version of the Hitman we've got now, and I think what they've got to look at is, look, we want to get new people in, and we also want new people to have fun, and finding that balance is difficult, but along the way now, I kind of feel like not only have they made the game way too easy, but there's also other things happening in that game that have just been completely neglected and driving me crazy. This is something that I want to talk about, and a lot of people within the Hitman community are probably going to hate me for bringing this up, but I'm going to talk about it, and I think that maybe you might even disagree with me on this. Can you remember back in the day when we were having problems with the sniper mechanics? It wasn't even the sniper mechanics, but you could snipe from a location, and as you would say, like let's say Bangkok, you'd start in
Yeah.
your room, you'd snipe Ken Morgan. You get rid of your sniper rifle, and then you go to walk away. So you'd walk out of your room, you'd be walking down the stairs, and the guards that seen that shot would come running up the stairs. They would be constantly enforcing. Now that was a problem, and I remember watching videos of people kicking off saying we really need a change. Now this is where the big issue came in. Now you can leg shot a guard, and as long as you run out of a small area of where that shot
Yeah,
came from,
the bubble.
they're absolutely oblivious to you, even if you've got your weapon out. Now, for me, that's gone too far the other way. I mean, yeah, they're being constantly enforced when you haven't got a weapon out and not in a trespass area. The guards should not be enforcing, but there still needs to be some kind of enforcement rules in place, especially if you're in a trespassing zone. I mean, that's it. You could be in a fully hostile zone. You got two guards in the way, leg shot them, run off, run that way, and you could literally stand in front of them with a sniper rifle on your back, like, all right, lads, how you doing? You're not supposed to be there. And the guards are clueless and completely blind to it, and it's been driving me crazy for so long that what I want to see, look, the way the guards react is absolutely fine. Like, they're going to do that, and they're going to run to the location that they've been shot from, or think that they've been shot from. But
Yeah.
if you're in a trespass zone and them guards are running past, it's clearly you that's the guy. Or if you've got a weapon out, it's clearly you that's the guy. So I kind of feel like instead of it working in a way where if you're in a hostile environment but you've run out of that small area, you're still in a trespass zone, or a hostile zone, or you've got a sniper rifle on your back. You're the man, and you're getting caught if the guards see you. But if you took the shot and you move on outside that proximity area, the guards aren't going to suspect you if you're not in a trespassing zone or if you're not carrying a weapon. And I think that's the balance that we need to get now. Now, I know that this is a big thing when it comes to speed running, but right
Yeah.
now, all I'm seeing is boom, leg shot, running through crowds with a sniper rifle on your back. Okay, there's the next guy that's enforcing, leg shot, run past him. There's the next one's, leg shot, run past. And now, pretty much, people are just floating through the entire levels without any kind of enforcement. And it's just ridiculous. There needs to be that thing in place to make the game challenging. And
Yeah.
the one thing I would like to see is to see some kind of enforcement come back when you are carrying a weapon or you are in the trespassing zone. That's the only thing I want to see, is that is the guards react the way they're supposed to, instead of just being able to run through the levels willy-nilly. I mean, if you You might be in an area and you've just got like just normal NPCs. I mean, it's the same as you can literally shoot one of them and then run in the room and be holding the pistol. Why is no one suspicious? This is the guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you do that shot? All right, you can put the weapon away and then you can run through because everyone's panicked. But if you're running through there with a pistol in your hand, I'm pretty sure I'd say, yeah, it's that guy.
Yeah.
So, if this is the thing I want the most, and I wanna see that enforcement come back for that, and that is it. I'll be over the moon with it. Now I know that people are doing speed runs, and this is the big method of getting through them quickly. But I kind of feel like we need that challenge back.
Yeah.
I don't know where you
Well,
stand with it. A lot of people have told me to leave it alone, but I can't. I can't.
yeah. Well, I think there might be some balancing. I wouldn't remove that. Uh, but there could be some balance regarding opening carrying a weapon in your hand while they're passing by through. Chasing where the shot came from,
Mm,
or the cooldown from where they are completely blind be smaller. Or when they are running towards you and you're passing by them, they're still enforcers, because when you do the leg shot or the tagging in a guard and you run towards that area, they're not enforcers anymore. Not even that,
yeah, exactly.
right? The way that it is, it doesn't bother me as a player. Uh, but I don't think it would be a bad thing to put this kind of thing, at least perhaps in master mode, that even when they're tagged, they don't get completely blind. They just keep enforcing while they're running.
Yeah, that's what.
You know.
That's exactly how I feel about it. I feel like, I mean, there's ways around it rather than just being able to drift past them willy nilly. Is that, yeah, they are might going to be coming your way. That doesn't mean to say that you can't nip into a corner and wait for them to pass. The way they react is absolutely fine. It's the lack of enforcement that drives me crazy. I'd love to see the guards actually enforce. But like I said, but the rules are in place there for as long as you're out of the area that you're having shot from, and you're not trespassing and you're not carrying anything illegal, there won't be any issues anyway. The problem when this first arose was that they enforced no matter what, even if you weren't carrying a weapon, even if you were in an area you were allowed to be in, and that's why the change happened and it needed to happen. But now it's gone too far the other way, and I'd like to see them meet us in the middle in terms of how the guards need to react and that difficulty level.
Yeah, back in 2016, getting back to, we were talking about the trilogy, which is one thing now.
Yeah,
It was every patch, you had no idea what to expect. I feel like we were beta testing the game for pretty much until the end of the life of the game, until the launch of Hitman 2.
mm,
While there were patches going out, some things would sometimes change dramatically.
mm,
And with the launch of Hitman 2, this was really toned down. And I don't know if they felt like, okay, I think we're getting where we want after all that experimentation, or it's really hard to tell, because the changes that we have now in Hitman 3 or World of Assassination, they are meaningless, and they have been meaningless for pretty much since the launch.
yeah,
So that's why I said it's the Glacier 2, and how the game works now is at its peak. Doesn't mean that it's ideal, but it means that from all the mistakes they've made and all the things right they've made, the current state of the game to me is the best that it has ever been. And you might want that extra challenge for the stealth. The thing is that we have this so-called exploits, what they are, exploits, right?
Mm.
So if you want to do runs, like you said, it's a self-imposed challenge. It's
Yeah.
not a rule anymore.
Mm.
So many
Yeah.
things about the stealth in Hitman at this point in time, with with the exploits, with the techniques, with the mechanics abuse, and all that, which I think all is valid in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I could see other people's point of view of why like a lot of people have told me to leave it alone because every game's got the exploits, and and people have said to me, if you don't like it, don't use it. But the problem with that is that there is a balance there to be had. See, I want to be able to use that, but I would like that extra layer of difficulty because that is a handy tool. But I can see other people's point of view. But what I would like to see is for everyone else to see my point of view and be like, yeah, he's right. He's not trying to fully get rid of it, but meet somewhere in the middle for this.
Yeah,
Because yeah, there is an exploit there, but for me, being able to just drift through the levels without any kind of enforcement at all is a little bit too OP.
yeah,
Especially when you're running. I mean, running through Sapienza, you've got crowds of people and guards running past you while you've got a sniper rifle on your back, and it's crazy.
yeah,
And I don't know why it drives me so crazy, and I think it's just because of like how easy it is. I'm not all for taking that out completely, but to see a balance put in place, that's the only thing I really want to see there. I don't want to completely like take the fun out of it, but to add that extra layer of difficulty in so that people can do it and be like, all right, I've worked it out. It is more challenging, but now I'm pulling this off in a more satisfying way because it's more difficult.
yeah.
If you get what I'm saying.
Sure. And they have, and like I said, they have the game is based on pro. The entire thing is based on pro. The
Mm.
base game, the contracts, escalations, elusive targets, main story, and master is not available everywhere, right? So if they want to increase the challenge and remove or tone it down, those kind of things that like you said, drives you crazy, they could experiment that in the master difficulty.
I'd agree with
Because
that. Yeah.
because I think it will be too much to change that at this point. Because they changed so many things, like I said in 2016, and change pro mode right now at this degree. I don't think it would be beneficial.
I know it'd
But
be.
in master mode, I think they would have the freedom if they have the if they have the will to do so
Mm,
to balance things better for stealth enthusiasts like you,
yeah.
right?
I kind of feel like we're at a point where nothing like that would happen. I kind of feel like it's set in stone, but I figure it's worth mentioning for the next installment. It's a way of implementing how enforcement could work that would meet in the middle. Now, I'm not expecting to get any kind of change like that in this game now, because that would be, I think, quite a big feat to kind of play around with how enforcement's going to work in the game. And for all we know, we could make it 10 times fucking worse and be back to square one again. And then
Yeah,
I would be hated.
At this point in time, this kind of thing is, I would say, it ain't happening.
Nah,
It ain't happening.
it won't.
I've said that over 1 year ago, over a year ago, I think, that the trilogy is done. It's time to move on.
Yeah,
Sure, you can have in your back pocket, you can have extra versions of maps, elusive targets like we had now. God knows for how long those contracts have been signed, you know, with the celebrities. Um, but I think the main focus of the game should be quality of life, and we have community and people wanting to provide contracts, to curate contracts, and we have people in the community ready to provide escalations. So it's very alive. We have live events with the Fruity community.
mm,
So it's happening. The thing is, get the game and make it as good as possible with the team that remains working at the game, which I don't know what kind of resources they are still putting on Hitman.
mm.
It's impossible to say that from outside. But there are some things that we're discussing that some of them are there for a long time. 12 seconds exit in Mendoza. They
Yeah,
never change it. We've managed to be heard and have an exit in an extra exit in Mendoza when I said, look, there's Mendoza. You arrive at the car, but you cannot leave in the car.
yeah,
And outside of the Tango exit, there's no other legal exit unless you're disguised.
yeah. Exactly. I think that was the big thing with that was that like we didn't really have the exits on Mendoza were horrendous. That
How could they overlook that?
I know, but yeah, for what a lot of people might not know is that when me and you, I think, that was maybe our last podcast that we did on Hitman, where
Yeah,
we
yeah,
talked about that, and then yeah, obviously Travis, who was originally working at IO, had sent me a message saying he watched the podcast, he loved it. Um, he told me that he's gonna push for this Mendoza exit to be
yeah.
implemented. And then I think it was maybe about 3 or 4 months later, we finally got it, and I know that me and you were over the moon with that.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like I wasn't sure whether they were like when he
And
said that whether they were gonna get it to work or like go ahead with it. But like I said, doing something like this can sometimes benefit everyone. So you're welcome.
yeah,
We did
yeah.
it.
The car exit in Mendoza is crucial.
Yeah, it's great. It's good.
Yeah.
It's because that
And it was right in front of them,
the whole time.
everybody's face.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We
So
were lucky. We got lucky that something that I was saying for since the launch of Mendoza was was heard by Travis. You know,
yeah,
sometimes you gotta get some luck to get the game improved,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, and like I say, like I am grateful that like Travis was paying attention to the podcasts. He always watched the podcast. He was always taking note on like things that could be improved on the game, and like I say, luckily we managed to get that Mendoza exit put in place. But same as we're on the subject, because I know that me and you were talking about it briefly the last time we spoke. Let's move on to the levels and what other benefits we think we could get added in. Now, I'm going to jump on the first one, and I know that you brought this up. Everyone's been saying it. Whittleton Creek. Is it about time that the clues became an optional thing?
Honestly, I changed my mind about that at least 5 times.
Where you at with it right now?
Right now, I feel like the clues they are they are a thing.
The Ira thing.
No, but I mean, should be mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory. See, I kind of feel
But
like
I thought before you shouldn't be like you should be like the tornado shelter in Colorado or the data core in Chongqing.
mm,
Um, Maybe in a couple months I will tell you I don't think it's necessary anymore.
no, it's,
But right now
mm,
I feel like it's part of the dynamic. Maybe because I'm watching way too many people playing Wilton Creek and routing. Because it's a differential and it's not obnoxious because the data core and the tornado shelter, those two things, they are obnoxious. But then there's the other side of it because the data core is crucial to the story and the tornado shelter is crucial to the story as well, just like the clues.
yeah,
So I'm kind of contradicting myself here because lore wise, all three things should be mandatory.
yeah,
And now only one is still mandatory. Never change it.
two,
Data core is completely crucial to the story in Chongqing, and the tornado shelter in Colorado absolutely crucial for the story too in Colorado.
uh,
But in the Winneton Creek, also crucial, but the only one that's still mandatory.
all right.
So I won't be mad if they make it not mandatory after the first playthrough.
Well,
But right now, I like the way that the dynamic works.
I'll
It's more
throw
like that.
I'll throw another one your way. Imagine if walking the constant to the boat was
Oh,
mandatory
yeah.
in the same. It's in the same area, but but hang on a minute. Getting the constant to the boat isn't mandatory. But on Wilton Creek, getting the clues is. But they're in the same. They're in that same grey area. So
It might
imagine
go
that.
on, go on.
Imagine every time you did skill, you had to get the constant to the boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like somebody there at some point said, "Look, if we make the player go to the tornado shelter every time to exit Colorado, which was a thing in 2016,
Yeah,
if we make the person go to Chongqing and to finish Chongqing had to go to data core and see the unskippable cutscene of 10 minutes every time they play, or if they have to walk the constant and the mission will never be less than 10 minutes, they're not gonna like this or they're not gonna play it because it's obnoxious.
yeah.
Now, Widow Creek clues, they are not obnoxious. And I think that's why they're still mandatory. Because it's let's face it, it's easy to get the clues. Some even overlap each other.
Mm.
It falls in the same gray area, like you said, about being crucial to the story and being not mandatory anymore after the first time. But it's not obnoxious. The other ones, they're crucial to the story, and okay, you have to dance the damn tango first time. You have to go to the data core and watch all that unskippable cutscene. You gotta go to the tornado shelter and do the mask thing and get the clues so you can exit for the first time. Those things, they are obnoxious for a dynamic. It breaks the dynamics of the
Yeah.
rest of the levels. And in Whittleston Creek, those things don't happen. So it's a walking contradiction to me. That's why I changed my mind so many times.
That's true.
Yeah, you
But
understand?
I suppose the good thing about it is optional. So if that is a thing where you feel like it should be done, that's still available to you. But you also have
Yeah.
the option to not do that and get out of the mission. That's a good. I suppose that's a good thing about it being optional. But I think it's because Whittleton Creek is such a small level, and for the amount of time that everyone's been doing it, that the clues have just become more of an annoyance than anything
Yeah.
else, and that maybe we are at that point in time where we could go, okay, first time it's mandatory, after that, you know what happens, you know what the clues are for, do the kills, and you've got that option to get out. It's completely up to you. Whether you feel like you need to be going out and getting them clues is completely optional. But it's there.
Yeah.
It's not like that's taken
Yeah.
out.
For the ease of access and not breaking, not pace breaking, for the past few months, I just stopped thinking about it and I said, okay, it's fine. Wilton Creek is a map that the record is already sub one,
Yeah.
like most of maps. And by the way, I was the first one to do sub one, just for the record. And
Show off.
and so you have a clue in James Batty's body or James Batty's shed, and then you have you can dig another one right on the side, and then you have the third clue with the security guard with the shotty.
Mm,
I think it's Hammer, his name. I don't remember. Spencer, right, or something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's right there, and you can, if you want to take a safer path, you can dig it up one, and then you can go to the robe on the other one, and then you can go to Um, but it's not obnoxious. That's the word that I'm using a lot because all the other ones that were mandatory, they were very very game breaking, very very pace breaking,
And quite
incredible,
limiting as well.
incredible for the first experience. Like that scene in Chongqing is amazing,
Yeah.
and uh, but after you want just to play Chongqing, having to do all that all every time, too much. And
Yeah.
I don't think Middleton Creek is too much.
Yeah. I see your point.
And there's contradictions in my opinion, but it's in my I think about as a player in the fluidity of the campaign. If I'm repeating the campaign,
Mm.
you know.
Oh well. Well.
If I want to do a sasso for if I want to play the campaign for the first time and get the full experience and read all the lines and know all the lore, but then I want to do it again, and now I want to do just Silent Assassin. I
Yeah.
can challenge myself to go to the data core, or I can just kill the targets.
Exactly.
You know.
That's what I mean. That's the good thing about it being optional. The option is still there to do it if you want. And it's interesting to see that we're both split on that because I kind of felt like you were where I was. Interesting that now you've sort of flipped on that. But
Yeah,
fair enough. I'll move on to the next one.
sure.
This is the one I was talking to you about this last time we spoke, and I think this level would really benefit from a change like this. So Miami. The thing I've always hated about Miami is that like no matter where you start, uh, Sierra is always in the race. And if you want to get her out of the race and do something interesting, it's always the same thing. So basically, my idea was, like they've done for Dartmoor, there's two different start points, one before the funeral and one after the funeral. So it should be in two different locations, depending on which start you want to go for. Now, I would like to see the same thing implemented into Miami for Sierra after the race is finished. That would completely change the whole thing. Brand new,
Yeah,
different strats altogether. Because you're talking about when it comes to doing things like poison only or farbwire only or anything that doesn't involve an accident, it's kind of ruined, and you've got to rinse and repeat the same thing no matter what you're doing, because you've got to end the race no matter what. Now, if there's a start point for Sierra being out and putting her in an interesting place with a cool, different kind of route.
You rig the race or you wait 14 minutes
Yeah,
to have
exactly.
access to Sierra.
Exactly. That's all. That's all it ever is. Or get the do my usual is like get the dongle and put the dongle in the race that way,
Yeah.
and but you've got to do that every single time, and it's kind of become an annoying thing for me now because
I'm gonna be dead honest with you.
yeah,
I think I think that will be the best addition right now to the game.
yeah, I
That will add that will add so much value to the game.
yeah, because
Having an after race start. Ooh.
yeah, exactly, because then like you're coming into that level with a completely different approach. Then I mean, not only that, but maybe. I mean, this might be a bit extreme, but you could have a different. After the race is finished, I know that things do change in that level. Now, where she goes, you could really spice things up. And not only that, but where Robert goes. Now, you're talking about the same level, but now we're coming in and we're playing it a completely different way.
Yeah.
So it sort of
Well,
spices it up.
depends on how much they want and they want to put to work there. But a simple start where the race is over changes everything. Even if they don't want to change the path for Robert or
Mm,
for Sierra. Just that the single fact that we can have a start after race is over.
yeah,
You stand up from the bench, race is over, or whatever the start is in the pier. I don't know. That itself would be the best addition that this game can have right now, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, it would completely change the flow of the way people do that level. Just having them go to the route that they've already got, or having Sierra already halfway through that route as you start. Like she might already be in a private room, or she might be in the in the bar taking shots
Yeah.
and whatnot. And we're coming in, and now we're looking at the same level, but in a completely different way. And it's just going to open up so many more different possibilities and different routing. Could be so much more interesting than what it is right
Yeah.
now with just constantly being in the car. And I'd be, if they
Yeah.
did something like that, I'd be over the moon.
Miami is a great level, and it was a great introduction to Hitman 2. I think it was a banger, just like Paris was 2016. I think it was incredible. But what a brilliant idea! A start just like Dartmoor, where it's an after race start.
Yeah,
You don't need to put anything if you don't want to. If you don't have, if you don't want to reroute, do routes, do new things, just add that possibility. That would be so rich, so
yeah,
rich, so rich. I start after race. That's brilliant. That's
yeah.
brilliant.
Right. So, is there any other levels that you think could get any kind of benefit from start locations or exits?
I think it's Hawke's Bay would be transformed if we had an exit that doesn't require you to run 200 meters to the exit as only exit, like we had in Elusive Target before.
Yeah,
Because even the ICA facility, which was in the beta of Hitman 2016, has more exits. It's more dynamic. And Hawke's Bay is kill and run.
yeah, because I think that's the thing with Hawke's Bay is it's always the same thing of get the target and then you're running down the beach and you're doing the same scripted thing, which We kind of had the same problem back in 2016 when it came to the ICA facility. Because you get in there, you get the kill, but then you always have to get out, and you have to go right back to the beginning to like hit the car exit. And I know that there was an ongoing meme about the helicopter becoming an exit, so you could fly out, and then
Yeah.
that did become a thing.
Well,
But
it's simulation. It's like a fourth wall breaking, right?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, you are right, because in the elusive target, there was an option to grab keys off the table and exit with the car that's at the side of the house. Now, I think like something like that would make more sense rather than doing the same boring route of like running down the beach and doing the same scripted thing every time. I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't say to have it as easy as just having the keys laid about somewhere, but maybe I think it might be good to maybe have someone have the keys on them. Maybe Orson or something like that, so that you got that extra thing in there to like, oh wow, he's got a set of keys now. Take them keys, and now you've got a closer exit. So it's not just a case of
Yeah.
grabbing them and getting out, and everything's much easier, but like adding in that extra layer of, oh, okay, I could have a faster exit, not have to run down the beach, but I need a way to
Yeah.
get these keys. There's a risk
Yeah,
involved.
but let's face it. Let's face it. The core of the mission is the same with the tools that we have right now, with the tranks, with everything that we have right now, with the snail, with the trank, with everything else. It doesn't matter if it's in the balcony or it's arson in the at the end of the day,
That's true.
because we have so many tools for that now that you can trank headshot and run to the boat. And how hard it is to run to the boat? Not really, not really challenging.
Not
There's a
really.
lot of bushes, and there's the scripted thing where you shoot the and cause the explosion with the fireworks
Yeah,
or whatever it's in the fuel thing. So not really challenging if you think about it. It's just that word again, obnoxious.
yeah. Well, I suppose you've got that blend of. I mean, in order to like you say, getting to the boat isn't challenging. It's just kind of the annoyance of repeating the same thing every time you play it.
Yeah,
Where
and imagine the extra exit for contracts. For contracts, you would
mm,
have a small sandbox with guards, and you would have the possibility of having targets outside for sniping potential, and the dynamic that would gain from an extra exit.
yeah,
The from in Hawks Bay, a small sandbox house with a beach with potential targets. Many of them walk in duos or trios, so it would be so much richer and dynamic, especially dynamic.
yeah,
That because everything that you have to do, because now you if you do a contract there, regardless, you gotta go to the damn boat, man.
yeah,
A sniper contract, you gotta go to the damn boat. Uh, the dynamic is lost because of that.
yeah. I do agree with you. I think it would be nice to be able to get. I think when you've got a level that's only ever got one exit, it's very linear and kind of annoying to repeat the same process, because no matter which way you do it, you'd always end up exiting exactly the same way, you know. And I think
Yeah,
getting a faster exit, I think that would sort of like make that level feel a little bit better, that you're not stuck in such a small level for this amount of time that feels just a little bit too long at times.
yeah,
Sometimes you got a
yeah,
small level like that, and it's nice to get in, do the bit, get out quickly, move on. And I think people would appreciate a small change like that. And it's not like they haven't got the exit. I mean, the exit's in there. They just need to program it in for the main level.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that difficult. It's
If
just
they did in Mendoza, they can do in Hawke's Bay.
exactly. It was the same thing I think it was the same thing with Mendoza, but I think it wasn't. Didn't that involve a certain? I think that was specific to a suit back then. Something like that.
No, if depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about the shrine,
No, there was the shrine exit, and someone said to me that the car
but
exit
still,
was in there, but there was a weird thing like the shrine exit that you had to do.
the car exit, for as long as I am aware, was never a thing.
Is it not? Someone was saying
No,
someone lied to me.
yeah, I've never seen a car exit before they officially put it on.
Someone,
The sh- the shrine exit is a good exit. Um, Kind of nonsensical, but it's a good exit.
yeah,
Nonsensical because you just go into a small cave, right? Uh, but it requires a specific suit, just like the swimsuit that's right there for the exit nearby inside.
yeah,
It's less risky, but to have access to that, you gotta have the requiem suit,
yeah, exactly.
and you gotta unlock that shortcut, which is no problem if you're playing the level actively and unlocking stuff and doing the challenges, right?
Mm,
So that's why I think the addition of the car exit is so important, and that's why I think, like we said before, it's a genius idea to have a star in Miami after the race is over,
mm,
so you don't have her stuck or having to get her off of the car every time, and it's the only option, or wait 14 minutes.
mm.
Um, to have that extra exit in Hawke's Bay, because then I would start considering the Hawke's Bay level, because I don't consider the Hawke's Bay level. I consider an introduction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I consider a hit and run.
Can you think of any other levels that might benefit from better exits?
Better
Don't
exits.
know if I can think off the top of my head. I know that, like, for me, uh, obviously the Mendoza one was like a big thing. Um, I do think that will get benefit from Hawke's Bay. I'm trying to think of if any other level that might be a little bit too restrictive in terms of exits.
Well, let's go map for map. Paris. We have the chopper. We have the boat that you gotta get the key. You have downstairs in the catacombs. You have three exits in front
Hmm.
in the main start. I don't see any need for any other exit in Paris. Sapienza, you also have the boat down. You have the other boat in the ruins. You have the lab, the plane. You have the main start. I think it's fine too. We go to Marrakesh. You have the main starting location, which is also an exit. You have the market. You have the car in the embassy. You have the car at the school.
You know we're gonna
I
we're moving into Bangkok next. You know what's gonna come up, don't you? How many times people have said this to me? Bangkok needs
and
that freelancer exit.
and then there's Bangkok, which thanks to Freelancer deserves that exit.
Yeah,
I dream of having the Freelancer exit in Bangkok.
I don't think that would be a bad thing. Um,
It has the Bangkok has also a problem with exits.
it
It also has a problem
it does.
in mass in
Master
in
difficulty,
master
it's insane.
in master. There's no legal way to exit.
Yeah, and I think that's always a problem. I think as long as you've got one that isn't too much of a hassle getting out, but is kind of out the way, fair enough. You've got a bit of balance there. But in terms of like master difficulty, there's the boat exit, but you got to go out of your way to get the keys, which is a nightmare on its own. Or else you're going into the basement area that's got a camera and two guards, one of which is just staring at the door. And I
Yeah,
kind of feel like adding that extra exit in would really benefit the level, especially on master difficulty.
yeah, yeah,
And like I say, it is kind of out the way, and it's right around the side, depending on like however you want to tackle the mission. But having one legal way of getting out would not
yeah,
be a bad thing.
yeah. Yeah,
Definitely.
this is a very important point that we're bringing. See, going level by level. The Bangkok, especially in Master, there's no legal exit.
Mm,
You have to use a disguise to exit. So it's due time. We are almost 2 years in Freelancer. Put the damn exit from Freelancer in Bangkok and call it reps.
yeah, I agree.
It's
Um,
it's it's like right there, right there. Just do it.
Colorado, I kind of feel like Colorado's fine. It's got
Yeah, especially after they removed in Hitman 2 the need to go to the shelter every time.
yeah,
It's good.
it's well
It's good.
balanced. I kind of feel like Hokkaido is well balanced. That's got more than enough exits. Hawksby, we've talked about that. Miami, I feel like that is fine. I mean, that's got quite a lot of exits really. They are
Yeah.
quite far reach on the edge of the map on all sides, but there's no real hassle for getting out, especially with legal ones. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, Santa Fortuna,
Santa Fortuna has legal exits too.
yeah, yeah. I don't have a problem with Santa Fortuna. Mumbai is more than fine.
Mumbai
Wilton,
is the most exits in the game.
yeah. Wilton Creek, I mean, you can literally do the Ninja Turtles exit halfway up the roads. Wilton Creek is fine.
Yeah.
Um, Ambrose Island, it's quite a wide map, and it does have legal exits, but they're only far reach on one side.
Yeah.
You do have the boat exit, but that requires you to be in a disguise and have a wrench.
Yeah,
Um,
that side of the map, that's the only option, yeah.
yeah, but you've got like the far end of the map. You've got the key under the brick for the boat, which you do have to run into an illegal area, but really that's not much hassle. I kind of feel like Ambrose is kind of there, but it just depends on which side of the map you're on.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Ambrose looks big, but it's not as well connected as some other maps. That's a lot
Yeah,
of rocks.
yeah. There's a lot of traversing in an odd kind of way for Ambrose.
You take Miami for example. There's a there's a race going on in the middle, cutting the map in two, and still it's extremely well connected after you get to play the map a little bit more. There's
Yeah,
ups and downs, uh, you know.
yeah. Where I feel like Ambrose is kind of cut off, and most of it is in like specific trespassing areas, which means you've if you want to be able to traverse the map quite well, a lot of them really you want disguises on. In terms of moving around in just the suit, I think Ambrose is one of the more awkward sides, and if you are doing suit only runs in terms of legal exits, it's only good if you're on one side of the map. Say, like, if you're doing
Yeah.
contracts mode, and a lot of it is taking place down by the boat where you need the wrench, getting into that area is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it would. I mean, let's not forget that you've also got the thing for the helicopter exit with Grey as well. You have got that option, and they're kind of split off, but they're in awkward areas. I don't know. I kind of feel like Ambrose isn't the best, but it doesn't warrant anything extra, if you get me.
Yeah. No, it has legal exits,
Hmm.
or at least one,
Yeah.
which you don't have to do anything illegal to go. Also, there's a very important thing in Ambrose that cannot be overlooked. You have for the main mission, you have the signal.
Yeah. For
So
Grey picking you up.
yeah, so you have the main boat, and you have, I think, two out of the three or all three exit points, extraction points. They're legal.
And if
The bridge is legal.
yeah,
The near the area where you go to the cooking area, the ruins is legal. I don't remember the third one right now.
there's the submarine exit, but that requires
Yeah,
the
but
key.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you want to be adventurous, it ain't too bad as long as you can grab the key.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty bad to get there, but it's also legal. Yeah.
No, yeah, I kind of feel like that's in a all right place. Scale, I kind of feel like scale is. I mean, in terms of legal, you've only. I think is there only one?
I
No,
think
there's
it's
two.
only the main.
There's one. That's right down by where the boats are. Next one, you've got the one by the pipe, which is in an illegal area. You've also got if you grab the flare, you can do the helipad, but that's like way up in the trespass zone.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like the boat exit that is in the trespassing area, it's really not hard to get to. I mean, even if you're on the underside, you can literally go under, out the window, climb up the pipe, and you're at the exit without any real hassle. I kind of feel like
Yeah, I have no problems
scale's
with
all right.
scale regarding exits. I really don't.
New York, one legal exit,
Yeah.
only
New
one.
York is a single target map. It's extremely well connected. It's a single target map, and you have the side objective of the data core, or the three things that they're equivalent of the data core. So yeah, the legal exit is the main exit, just like Scale, right?
Yeah.
So you have the Easter egg exit, you have the VIP card exit,
Mm.
you have, and then you have that one downstairs with the beside right by the side of the safe,
Oh yeah, the security
the
truck.
garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, where are you gonna put other exits in the map? It's a small, well-connected map
Yeah, I
with
know.
one target. You know,
And
where
to be honest,
another window?
maybe a back exit. I don't know, because you have got them exits, but it's kind of. I think it's that thing of each other exit requires you to grab something before you get out. I think it's kind of like depending on where you're at, it's like evenly balanced. If you've at least got something that will let you get out with some sort of ease, that isn't too much hassle. But when I think of New York, I don't see many of them exits as too challenging,
Yeah.
which isn't
But look,
too bad.
there's a funny thing about New York, which is the first contact that you have with New York right now. All the paths, they are illegal.
Mm.
Because before you had the glitch that you could bypass the guard and he wouldn't bother you, but now he combats you. So how do you, when you're first playing the game for the first time and you're going to infiltrate, how are you gonna do it? I see two options: bring a lockpick and pay attention to the surroundings for the door at the left, or go down. Go down on the right side where the guard. There's a frisk guard there, not a frisk guard, but a checkpoint guard there that you can go down and hang in the ledges and
Mm.
then go down. Those are the two entrances that you might get away with. So you still have to kill Athena, and get the three pieces or the data core. In a way, New York, for suit only, if you're not experienced it's very challenging.
If you know it is, yeah.
If you're not experienced it's very challenging. It's a hard map. Those three pieces, or infiltrate the bank. Of course, then you get to know that you can turn the TV on and make everybody collapse, and then grab the key, open the safe, go through the. And in the main mission, you can pass the card, and the laser is disabled.
Mm.
You have a couple of free briefcases. You have ways to lure Athena down, but the first contact. Now that ever since that glitch from the guard was removed, is it's quite challenging for the first contact, the
Mm.
first few tries that you put on it,
But
which is interesting.
do you reckon that would warrant a better exit, or an exit with more ease?
Oh, and also there's the janitor exit. I forgot.
Yeah, yeah,
For a map with that format, I don't think so.
yeah. I'm with you. I can't.
Because even the janitor exit is free because you can grab the key in the TI the
The IT
TI
room.
guy,
Yeah,
the IT room, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I
I'd
think
agree.
it's a fair learning curve, and for the format of the map and the things that you have to do there, I don't see any other exits
No,
to
I'd
benefit.
agree. I'd agree. What about well, I'd say Haven Island, but I think God, like Haven Island has got a lot of exits, and even though a lot of them are in trespass zones, they are relatively easy. I'd say Haven's fine.
Haven's fine. The problem with Haven is it's another thing. It's the detection.
Yeah. Uh,
Exits in Haven are fine.
I'd say Dubai is fine.
Oh, Dubai is alongside with Mumbai,
Yeah.
probably the two best maps regarding exits.
Yeah.
So many options.
I've never had any problems with Dartmoor. I've kind of feel like that's relatively balanced. It's especially grabbing the keys and being able to get out with a limo, the boat exit.
Yeah.
I don't think.
The bridge, main exit.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty balanced. And now Berlin is one for good topic because of the way this game is structured, and depending on how you tackle it, because a lot of people might tackle this like in different ways, and if you're on ground level, I'm trying to think like a lot of the stuff in this does require you to do things in a trespass zone. There's not a lot of free exits in Berlin
Yeah.
when it comes to being on ground level. I mean, if you're in the middle, you've got the pizza guy exit.
Well, Berlin. There's a thing about Berlin that after master, you have mastery in Berlin. It's a thing. But do you remember how you play Berlin for the first time when you were playing the game? I don't want to give spoilers, but the situation is rough. You're alone.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh I remember.
You are alone, and you start right in the middle of the road, and you find the first dude there in the forest. So it's a very different thing, right? I think Berlin is a special case
mm,
because the first guard comes and you find a body, you grab the knife from the body, you kill the first guard. You already have a disguise and a silenced pistol there. Uh, so I think it's different the way that they, they present you the level.
mm,
That makes me see things in a different fashion, right?
mm,
Because you have the 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 food delivery guy exit, which is well, it's a one KO away, and it's fairly safe to do, and it's in a non-trespassing area, right? The thing is, before you open the shortcut outside, it's a bit problematic to go in. Unless you go from the side, then you have to go all the way around.
yeah,
Both sides, by the way, you can do that.
mm,
But I don't know if there. I don't know if we had an exit there that never worked and they removed, which was
yeah. It was
the
the
Kawabunga.
yeah, it was the drain, wasn't it? Yeah, I kind of feel like, although, like, 'cause this is quite a compact level, and depending on where you are when you kill that final target, there is quite a lot in there. But in terms of like safe ones, are like right far on the edge of the map. But then you have got them ones that are more risky, but they are all within close proximity. You got the pizza guy, but then right next door to that, you've got the bikers.
Yeah.
Um, you've got the bicycle exit. Um, if you really want to have some fun, you've got the alien abduction exit.
Yeah.
We've got the basement exit. That one is really restrictive, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe I kind of feel like, although some of these are more awkward, I don't know. I wouldn't say that Berlin warrants anything extra. There is a lot of exits there. It's just because of how compact it is. It feels like
Yeah.
the way out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and to me, there's two things. The way that Berlin is presented in the game when you first have the first contact that you have, and yes, there are legal exits, or at least one legal exit. You gotta see if you have legal exits first. That's the first thing that you have to check. Mendoza had the Tango, which could bugged out, and it will be it's unskippable cutscene, all those things. The rest was all illegal. Bangkok doesn't even have one until this day in Master. Every exit in Bangkok is illegal. So
Yeah,
I'm coming from a point where what we have to look first is is there an available legal exit,
yeah,
and go from there, right?
Chongqing. I'd say Chongqing's fine. It's pretty much got a bike exit right there with no keys needed.
Yeah.
It's got the rooftop, even though it's in an illegal area. It's relatively easy to get to. You've got the basement one, which I understand the restrictiveness of it. I'd say Chongqing's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. And you also have some couple of manholes also. And the train station.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God yeah.
Yeah.
Mendoza, we already fixed for you, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then
But
that.
Chong has a thing that it's one of those maps that you never have access to the targets if you're not trespassing.
Yeah.
They never go in an area where you're not trespassing. There's that.
Yeah, that's true.
So it is a challenging level
Yeah,
in itself,
nothing
and I
wrong with
think
that.
and I think the exits are fair for what the level is supposed to be. I think it's fair. You have legal and you have more risky exits. Even the key card one, I think it's a great addition.
Yeah.
By the way,
And then last but not least, Romania.
it's a train. It's another level. It's just a train. I like to see shreds, people pushing the limits of it. It's a fun watch, but it's a
Yeah.
train.
Yeah. I don't have any real issue with Romania. I mean, it is a very linear level. I kind of feel like I think the only thing that lets that level down is the fact that you can't really do anything to any of the other guards. Now, there's an optional thing that says that like you can kill them, but you can't get a silent assassin rating from that. Where I kind of feel like the one thing that really would have spiced up that level is if you could do a kill everyone challenge on that and still achieve silent assassin.
You get the 5 stars, just not the Silent Assassin rating, right? Which is funny. It's the only case that we have.
Yeah,
You don't have 4 stars. You have 5 stars, but not Silent Assassin.
yeah, and it's not great when you
The
don't
re-
see that silent assassin pop.
I see Romania as like a victory lap with a redeeming factor that you have choices at the end. You have the Easter egg. You have the Easter egg one. You have the normal one sedating, or you have the one killing the target. Uh, so that's the redeeming factor for a victory lap level, which is it's not a level in my opinion. It's a victory lap
Yeah,
because it the game wraps it up really well.
yeah, it's more like that thing to just sort of close off the story in it.
Yeah, and
Uh,
you have 3 options to exit to ending, which
yeah,
is which is fantastic. One of them, well, little spoiler. One of them brings you to the first scene of Codename 47, which is the first game in the franchise.
yeah,
Figure out by yourself how to do it.
not saying anything. Yeah, right. So we've hit campaign. Is there any what different area would you like to move on to next? Contracts or probably you? Maybe we go into freelancer next. Where you're at with freelancer? What improvements can we get? What do we need fixing?
In Freelancer, well, I think in Freelancer the thing is it's a great mode. Brought me joy to get back playing the game more loose. which is something that it was very rare for, I mean, for any Hitman player to play the game loose,
Mm.
right? Especially when you apply yourself so much to master mechanics, to go after records, to, you know, routing stuff. I don't have a whole lot to say to complain about Freelancer, but the fact that yes, we could have more maps to it. Um, there was a few suggestions that I've made that you could have a Freelancer mode where you start a campaign and everything is randomized. You don't have control over you don't get to pick the syndicates.
Mm.
Like a different mode inside Freelancer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I've been into that discussion a few times. I think it's because I think you would say there like the good thing is that you could go in there and you could play that a lot more loosely. You're not having to overly worry about the silent assassins, and you've got more freedom. And you can.
I have some points here. Let me just go here because I have some points here from Freelancer
Mm,
that I have in my Google Docs that I passed to IO, but mm, mm, let me see if it's here. Okay, a problem with perfect run on hardcore where the player failed the condition that only complete after exit. That was fixed already.
mm.
Problem with dupe items, never fix it. Um, server problems. I don't think they can do much about it. The payouts, I think they're fair. Uh, some people in the community were frustrated, but after the prestige came along, the payouts are more fair. SA prestige failing if target spots a body even after being eliminated after. I don't know if that was fixed because that shouldn't void SA, right? By the rules of the game.
Mm.
If you pacify somebody and a target sees the body and you kill the target 1 second later, the SA is ruined.
Yeah, that's gone back to like 2016 rules, hasn't it?
Yeah, and that's a bug because
Yeah,
it doesn't comply with anything else that's happening in the game. The current SA rules.
I mean that was something that like I know a few people were talking about. That was there was no real consistency between if it's going to work this way in the campaign, it needs to work the same way in freelancer mode because then people get confused.
Oh,
A lot of people will have come in to play freelancer, and
yeah.
then when they play the campaign, they don't know the other rule of you can kill that target and still keep silent assassin. The whole thing becomes confusing then because it's like, oh, hang on a minute, now why is it working this way but it's not working
Yeah,
this way over here?
yeah, it's a bug. It's a bug. Here's the requests, okay? Because after you play freelancer, there's the prestige, and we have friends that keep prestiging and prestiging. Here's some ideas that I've passed to IO last year. None of them were implemented, but here goes again.
Okay.
The ability to use mercies to buy starting locations,
Mm.
because eventually you become a millionaire and you have nothing to do. You have nothing to use your money for.
Mm.
So ability to buy starting locations, and of course using other maps, the Icon Landslide, Garden Festival, House Built on Sand, Patient Zero. Um, that exists, but it's not official, right?
Mm.
The request to always choose the Silent Assassin variant as prestige.
Yeah,
That's
that's a major thing for me, that a major thing, and I think that's always been that was my argument going in before I'd even played Freelancer, because I remember you were playing the beta, and I instantly said before I even played it that this is really going to split people, because for
Yeah.
people like me that really like playing with the silent assassin rules, and that's just because I'm a stealth fanatic weirdo. I I was hoping that I would always have the option to be able to play that way, but I don't.
Yeah. And
So
there's this complement here, which is always have the option to choose SA and also combine with the second prestige
yeah,
for full in experience. So always have the SA bonus available, or as an optional thing to choose.
I think that
And
could be a thing that they could literally just put in place that's there as an optional thing without even having to choose it as a thing. You could have your three prestiges, but that silent assassin bonus should always be in place.
or like the three prestige, and then the side there's a button, silent assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, for,
Uh, there's another thing, especially for those who like to prestige or to even fill your cabinet with weapons. Please, Sayo, if anybody sees this or listen to this, an indication with the weapons that you grab in maps, if they're already in the safe house or not.
yeah,
It's a mess.
yeah.
It's a mess. 2 years of freelancer, and if you, and the first time that you're feeling your weapons, you either have to memorize or take notes, or you're gonna bring several times the same weapons back,
I think
and
that
sometimes i- uh, one any indication it's already in the safe house.
I,
Any indication.
I think that there's probably an easy way to solve that out. If you're looking at a weapon before you pick it up, see, that always comes up in the same color, which is white. Change the color to know that when you're picking that up, you don't have that in the safe house. So say like you've got it,
Yeah.
the writing's in white. If you haven't got it, the writing might be in like red, or in,
That's a good
you
one.
know what I mean,
Yeah.
or an easy color like that. So you can go, I haven't got that, and then boom, because
Yeah.
the amount of different shotguns in there, and I need to remember which freaking shotguns I've got and which ones I haven't.
And and, and
It's
the, the
annoying.
and the 49 types of Bertollis,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know.
It's a lot. It's a lot easier to like be able to, just by
And
doing
that
a color change. It's some indication.
and that might be the ideal solution, because you wouldn't have to necessarily pick it up the gun and check information in it. It will be right there.
Yeah.
A dot, a color change, anything, right?
Yeah. Exactly. It'd make life a lot easier. Because then that way you could eliminate it and be like, okay, I don't need that.
Yeah,
I've got an extra space to carry something else, and then you can just leave
yeah,
that behind and move on to something else that you do need. It would make
yeah.
life a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot faster prestige in that way.
And don't get me wrong, I've prestiged 10 times in Epic on Epic. I've got level 100 in like 4 or 5 accounts. That's not the question. The question is, every time that I go for that kind of thing, it's horrible,
Yeah,
because I never know which weapons I have.
yeah,
And the last one that I sent, which was a top five, request to have a world tour mode using similar format as a campaign, but playing all maps available in the mode without repeating. So you would have to play all the maps. For
mm,
example, when I play Freelancer, I always try to choose Mendoza as my showdown.
yeah,
In the world tour mode, Mendoza would be only once, because I would have to play all of the maps, mandatorily.
Yeah,
You know, like a world tour.
yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. See, but my idea for it was that like once you first start playing Freelancer, the way the game mode works makes sense. But if you're the type of person that is only interested in the gameplay and you're not really interested in prestige, or even if you are interested in prestige, for me, doing the way it works with the challenges and getting the masses that way, it becomes very uninteresting. Where if they implemented a game mode into Freelancer that's similar to how we play the campaign, that works with the Silent Assassin rules. So at this time, we're not picking challenges, we're not picking prestige things. Now you're rated on how well you play each level, and everything is rated on. Did you do it Silent Assassin, which would be the max payout with a bonus, and each section of points you get matters on. Right, was a body found? Right, there's 5k lost because a body was found. Did you get caught on camera and not erase the evidence? Money lost. Was a crime noticed? Points lost. Did you leave a weapon or any kind of evidence behind? There's points lost. And you would play with the same Silent Assassin rules, and if you're pulling off Silent Assassin, you're getting the max payout. If you're playing sloppy and you're leaving bodies behind, you're killing innocent people, you're going to lose points each time. So
Yeah.
the better you play, the bigger the payout. Now, not everyone's going to be into that, but for someone that's a veteran like me that likes playing by them rules, I think that would be an amazing thing to move away from the challenges and just play by the Silent Assassin rules themselves.
Yeah.
I know that the game isn't in a great state, and most of the time you might not be pulling off Silent Assassins, but I've got that option to do that. And not only that, it then also grants me the freedom that I liked about the campaign of this challenge is kill guards with shotguns. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I don't want to bring a shotgun at all. Okay, maybe for this level, this is the way I prefer to play it, and let's see if this works. Alright, I'm going to bring a sniper rifle, I'm going to bring this gadget, I'm going to bring this. That gives me the freedom of approach to tackle that level in my own way without being restricted by all of the challenges, and I feel like that would make me enjoy Freelancer a lot more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a big ask. I know it is.
Well, there's room for that. My main concern still is, and I think this might be in a way, we gotta have more options what to do with the money.
Yeah,
Like I said, that's why I suggested the option to buy starting locations.
so I like that. Also to add to that is that if you go into 47's wardrobe, you can see this disguises and hats and things like that for the chef and other things, and yet there's no use for them. So I kind of feel like they could implement something that if you want to spend the extra cash, maybe you could start in a chef's disguise in Sapienza, or you know, a certain type of disguise in any map. It's giving you that extra option and the freedom to play the way you want that way.
I mean, like besides the starting location, you mean like a cosmetic thing?
Yeah. Like how we've got star points in each level, and you're granted a disguise with that. Could be
Yeah.
implemented in Freelancer at a cost.
Interesting. Interesting.
So
Yeah.
not only are you purchasing where you might want to, because let's put it this way, Colorado, you're on a showdown, and it's hardcore. The last place I want to be starting is up the tower. I don't want to be on that tower in a suit. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
that's like the worst case scenario sometimes. Like depending on what gear you've brought, and you've got three guards right underneath you, and if you if one shot even takes place on that level, you know, things can turn so quickly. So to be able to go, all right, I want to do this. I want the difficulty, but I want the benefit of being able to start in a safer location, and I'm willing to
Yeah.
pay extra money to start in a disguise, so I don't have to worry about having to knock that first guard out, worry where his body's going to be, worry about is
Yeah.
anyone going to see the switch, you know, and if anyone sees it, they're all running to the exits. Something like that could definitely benefit the game a lot more. I would agree with you. Like being able to pick your
Yeah.
exit, being able to maybe pick a disguise and spend that extra money could be really a really interesting way.
Yeah. And it can and it doesn't have to be cheap because if it's too cheap, it's meaningless.
Yeah, exactly. I think it
You
would have
got
to be a big spend, I think.
yeah, because it's fairly fast. I've played. I'm usually speedrunning freelancer, but I've played some campaigns without speedrunning, and it's really surprising how fast you get rich in freelancer.
Yeah,
It's it's unpleasantly surprising how fast you get rich in freelancer.
yeah, that's
Of
for
course,
sure.
if you die in normal, you will lose half of it. If you die in hardcore, you lose all of it. But talking about, you know, what you do with the money, you have 700k mercies, no weapons left to grab, or you know, the mode is very rich and implementing certain things might be the ideal place to play Hitman besides the main missions
Yeah,
because it's
exactly.
dynamic. It's dynamic. It's random. It's randomized, and you never know what to expect. But right now, it can have more.
Yeah.
You can have the disguise option. You can have the starting location option, and those are just a couple of ideas. You can have much more.
Well, there was something that I brought up very early before. I think I was like literally 1 day into playing freelancer, and I think it's the fact that because the weapons are so like randomized and like the way you purchase them, it's only ever like in level. Like I said from the get go that really what we could do with is an extra laptop in the safe house, and 47 can access the dark web to be able to buy the full list of weapons, but at a higher cost. And that's some
Yeah.
extra that you can spend your money on. That's going to make prestige a lot faster. You'll know, that even less confusion there because you'll know everything in the list is what you need. I kind of feel like that would be a cool thing to add in.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea if the cost is higher. I
Mm.
understand that. Yeah, I see that working. If instead of paying, I don't know, 15k for a pistol, you have to pay 25 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more of the annoyance of when you get close to the end and you've got all of this money, but you're going to vendors and you're turning up and there's nothing there. And it's like, I'm only like one or two away from prestige here and I've got all this money. I really want this
Yeah,
over and done with. That would be a way of eliminating the randomness of that.
I think that was overlooked, to be honest.
Yeah.
It feels like it was overlooked. The fact that sometimes you're missing one weapon and you go 3, 4 missions and they don't have the weapon.
Unless there's a way that they can fix that so that there's always something there for you to buy, at least the dark web purchases. It's
Yeah.
just an extra way of of getting that, but at least at a higher cost, you can go out there and you can purchase the gear that you know you're going to play well with. There's that
Yeah.
option there for because sometimes it's annoying that I might want to play with the higher level weapons, but it's taken a long time to get them, and when you've just prestiged and you've got no gear, it drives me crazy that sometimes it takes a while to get the sniper rifle I want. I like playing with the Krugmeyer. You don't get that until like about 3/4 of the way into a new prestige. You know, like the high end
Yeah.
sniper rifles. You're usually not getting them until quite late in. There's like you've got specific ones that you like to play with. This way, it's going to cost you more, but you're getting the benefit of playing with the gear that you want, and that's the freedom of approach that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I like the idea. And I had this other idea, which is when you when you die or get caught, or you die in a level, you fail the campaign, that you have some sort of redeeming chance or something like that, that you will be raided in
Yeah,
your safe house, and you have to defend your safe house, right? I see that as something that can be very, very fun, including customizing your house to prepare yourself for possible raids,
yeah,
boop traps, and you know.
I know that me and you talked about that before, quite early on, and I know that like it never become a thing. I don't think the we're like planning on the safe house to become an actual playable level, but yeah, with that, I think the annoyance is that once you get caught or die in Freelancer, you're losing all your tools. And the problem I've got with that is the way Freelancer works is most of the categories you need the tools or else you're making nothing. Like you got
Yeah.
like an accident category, um, explosive category, and you know once you lose all of them tools, you're back to square one. And like, there's only so many categories you can do. Because all right, you've still got your weapons, but you're back to playing the assassin category. Because you've got your pistol, you've got your sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Anything to do with accidents is out the window because all the tools have gone. Or anything else that might require the tools. It just basically you become limited on what category you're playing because that happens where you're right, if you do get caught, then maybe you'll have that redeeming factor to be able to keep your gear if you can survive a raid. So maybe then
Yeah.
that would warrant you will lose all of your gear if you fail being raided.
Well, or not only that, but having a raid mode, for example, a dedicated raid mode where your house, you have to defend your house, and if you succeed, you gain a certain amount of money or a special weapon, or you know
Hmm. Hmm.
something to add up.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be in the normal campaign. You can have some sort of raid mode that gives you rewards if you succeed, or punish it if you fail.
Yeah. I could see
Because we
that.
had because we had that in Dartmoor, one of the escalations that we had. I think it was from premium one. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was Wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the sins.
Yeah, Seven Deadly Sins. That was the last one. It was Wrath, I think. Yeah.
And I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And I think that can fit, something in that model could fit in Freelancer somehow.
Yeah, because it kind of feels like the safe house is like a nice place, but there's not a lot happening in it when you're roaming it.
Yeah.
To be able to bring something like that in would like really spice it up. Would make it feel like, okay, this is my place and I must defend it. You know, it'd be a
Yeah.
nice extra layer of like role playing in for the players there as well. You know, everyone's like doing it up, customizing it their way. It's their place, and
Yeah.
to have something like that in it it would make it feel more alive.
You wanna dive deeper on the idea?
Go for it.
You enter a mode where if you die, your house will be raided, and it's mandatory for you to chase the entire syndicate to eliminate because they know where you live. And let's say every showdown you're gonna be raided, and it's gonna be harder until you defeat the entire syndicate. And then this syndicate is dead, and nobody else knows where you live.
Mm.
This kind of thing. You want to dive deeper in the history mode? You can do that,
Oh yeah.
right?
There's so many
Okay,
options.
okay. Now this syndicate knows where I live. I'm gonna have to do a full campaign to completely make them disappear,
Mm.
so they stop the raids, so they don't chase me anymore.
Mm.
So I get anonymous again.
Yeah.
It's like in Blood Money. Blood Money have this
Or like
thing
a
that the
like
notoriety,
yeah.
right? That depending on how much you're known, the more sus people get. But you know, using that just as an example of well, people know who you are, or people or a syndicate know where you live. You gotta get rid of them. You know.
And I do like it, and I do feel like that would really spice it up a lot, and that would kind of solve the problem of always losing your gear if you have like a like if you fail one of the campaigns, at least you've got another chance for redemption. Sometimes I feel like freelancer mode can be just a little bit too brutal sometimes in terms of the amount you lose if you do fail.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. This can be this can, and I think should be optional,
Oh yeah, also yeah, definitely. I
right?
mean, there
You want to
is
dive in? You want to dive in? There's pros and cons, and it's more expanded, but it's
yeah,
riskier,
yeah, I like it.
right? And the changes that would have to be made, they are not major. The house is there. The house functions. It has physics.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say,
There's
that's like an interesting area that can be explored if I all want to do that, and I see nothing but an upside to adding something like that in.
yeah. It's something that it's possible, and I think it would be. I think it would be a great addition, just like the other suggestions we've made thus far.
Mm.
You see Mendoza with that exit. That's something that we achieved.
Yeah,
Made it such a huge difference for the speed running and the casual player and everything like that, and in between. So hopefully, people from IO that are still working in Hitman that can do something about this might find some sense in what we're saying here.
yeah. Anything else? Any other area of freelancer you want to go over? What's working and what's there is one thing I wanna bring up. This is regarding the challenges, and it's something that's been driving me crazy, and I know I'm not the only one that said it. Is It's one of the challenges that you're usually getting all of the time, and it's the hard all bodies challenge, and that is that is only 1,000 points, and it is probably the worst challenge in the entire thing. And it's down to the fact that you might go into a level and there's 4 targets, one of which, because it's all randomized, one might be constantly just walking around in a very small circle in a crowded area that's nowhere near anywhere to like hard the body or put that body physically in a crate. I can't. Anytime I come up against that, and anytime I watch anyone else that comes up against that, is like, yeah, I ain't doing that. It's an absolute waste of a slot for a challenge. Now you've got
And the payoff is
it.
payoff is
The
ridiculous.
payoff is not worth it. I mean, really, if you're doing that, depending on how many targets in here, that should be a payout per each target you do, because you might have 4 in the worst area ever, and you're talking about knocking out half of an area just to drag a body through like this crowded area, just to put the body in this one crate where you've got another challenge there, which is nobody's found, which that's absolutely fine with me, because that challenge gives you leeway where hard all bodies doesn't. It's so restrictive, and because of how randomized the targets are, most of the 99% of the time it's not even worth trying, and you're just ignoring it. Really, I think what they need to do is just take that challenge out completely, because it's been driving me crazy, and depending on what category you're playing, you're getting it like nearly every level you're playing. So I feel like this is something that like I all need to like really think about and be like, yeah, the payoff isn't great. How the targets work and actually getting them to a place where you can hard them is unrealistic. Let's take that out. Let's maybe think of another challenge that is more balanced. Like I say,
I think they have the statistics there.
oh yeah,
They probably know that this is, if not the most not doable, or the people that don't less adopted, it's probably top 2, top 3, if not the one that people simply don't do it.
yeah, and I think if that is the case, it's good to just bring it up and get the ball rolling on them thinking about, okay, we tried this, it isn't working, let's take it out, let's add something else in there that is more realistic. Because like I said, the nobody's found is absolutely fine. I mean, you may be in a bit of a bad situation. You may have to tuck a body in a corner and hope that no one is going to go around that corner and see that body. But it's giving you leeway. Doesn't mean to say that it's easy, but it's giving you that chance to be able to pull it off realistically, especially if there's 4 targets in a really bad spot. Where realistically, trying to put them physically in a crate or dump them over a ledge. I mean, there's like, for instance, Mendoza. You have exits where you can throw a body over the rail where the stairs are. But that area isn't classed as a body yard, and even though no one goes there, and that body's never going to be seen, that doesn't register as a body yard. Do you know what I mean? So you might
Yeah,
be
yeah,
going to all of this effort to do this, to find out that one of the bodies technically hasn't registered as a body yard, even though they're never going to be seen, and you've wasted your time trying to be careful and strategic, and it ends up more frustrating than anything else.
yeah, yeah. There's the dump spots that don't count as body hidden. They're they're an abomination, if you
Yeah,
ask me.
yeah,
And I'm
uh,
not talking about the stairs in Colorado. Of course, the body is right there, but out of bounds prompts,
yeah.
right?
I think we had a similar problem on Dubai as well. I think if you push someone over the ledge and they'd fall all the way down, that area before wasn't classed as a body hard location. So you could literally push them, they'd fall outside the map and never ever be seen ever again. But nothing registered, and I kind of feel like that's just a little bit too restrictive of a challenge. That each challenge needs to have a little bit of leeway so that, you know,
Yeah.
if you're not in the best situation, it's that challenge is still going to give you somewhat of a chance to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, Dubai has a problem in a few places where if you dump a body from certain areas, the body will be right there, but you count as body hidden, and nobody will acknowledge the body. That problem, I'm not sure if we have that in other maps, but I can show that in video areas in Dubai where this happens.
Mm.
That the body is in plain sight, but since you dump it in that glitched area, it says body hidden, and the body gets forgotten for it never gets found again.
Mm.
Even if people pass by or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there are other maps that have that, but Dubai has this problem, and they know that. It's been reported.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there any other challenges that are broken within Freelancer that need fixing? I think I'm aware call a meeting is still broken. That's like 50-50. You could
Which
like,
one?
yeah, you can take a suspect's phone in one of the challenges to arrange a
Oh
meeting,
yeah.
but when you do it, half of the time the challenge won't pop. That
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's still broken right now. That needs either fixing or taken out because it's horrendous, especially
Yeah,
for something that's a prestige challenge.
the phone thing is something that it can work or it cannot work.
Yeah, it's just
And
it's random in it.
it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
So I am still aware of that. I'm not sure of any other ones that might still be broken. I, I,
You could simplify the phone one, like arrange a meeting. Get any phone and put the phone on the ground, and that's that. It's solved.
yeah,
Because then I don't know what they consider what the game considers what, because it fails. Sometimes you do exactly what the game says, and it doesn't matter.
yeah, and it's been a while since we've had any kind of patch for Freelancer yet as well. So that's been going on for quite some time now.
I think the last one was removing the perfect run.
When was that though?
Oh, it's been a minute. It's been a
It's
minute.
been a while.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. I
Yeah.
mean, I have been sat back waiting. The last three patches, I'm pretty sure I've been waiting to see what's been coming in, and there's been nothing for Freelancer. It's whether they don't have the resources to work on that right now, or whether they've actually got a plan for a big fix that might be coming up. I don't know, one or the other. But yeah, I'm hoping that soon. Maybe they are thinking about all of these things that are broken because, like right now, Freelancer is the big selling point for the game, with it being the newest implementation of Hitman. You know, um,
Yeah, credit where it's due. You get the game, you get the full experience. If you're going to dive in the game for the first time, they succeeded. IO Interactive succeeded. They've made the game that they wanted, pretty much, if not 100%. Because if you dive in right now as a first time player, there's so much content.
oh yeah,
It's I don't see any other game with so much content besides perhaps an open world. I don't even know if that would be. It's not the same, so I don't compare with that. But a game that offers you so many hours and so many things to do in so many different ways,
yeah.
and it's all there.
I mean,
It's all there.
you can't fault them. They have really gone all in, and they have tried a lot of stuff. I mean, Even looking back at like when we were diving into Hitman 2 and they took the shot with Ghost Mode. I miss
Yeah.
Ghost Mode, I really do. You know, but
Yeah.
when the timing for them implementing that in, and the problem with that was you could only matchmake with like whatever platform you were on. So I could only ever play against people that were on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because I was naturally good at the game. If I was doing well, people would just leave. That made it boring. I couldn't really play with the people that I know within the community. I mean, I couldn't really play with you, with CJ, unless I bought it. I mean, I had to like go out of my way to like repurchase Hitman again, and then I'm doing it through the PC. I've got nothing on it. It's a brand new account, and you
Yeah.
know, and
Well, there's that factor and the a couple of things that ever since the launch of Ghost Mode, it's in my mind, which is Ghost Mode is is so much fun to play with friends. The thing is, Hitman is a game that everybody knows, but not a lot of friends in common have the game at the same time.
mm,
So, in my opinion, Ghost Mode should have been either a mode that's free to play from both sides, just like we have the starter pack, we have Hitman content available for free.
mm,
I think Ghost Mode could have been a free to play mode with a cosmetic little cosmetic store, or at the bare minimum for you to play Ghost Mode, only one of the two friends should have the game, and not both. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Instead of okay, uh, you want to play with a friend, you want to introduce him to Hitman, or you want to have a fun time with him, but he doesn't have Hitman, and you do. But you cannot play unless he buys the entire thing.
mm.
Now, if he doesn't have the game and you have, and you play with each other and you have a great time, you can bet your ass that this man is gonna buy the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it would have way more people, and that's why I think Ghost Mode died.
Yeah,
Because after a few months, if you try it to go and pair up, you would there wouldn't be anybody.
yeah,
Nobody. The only people that were playing Ghost Mode was between friends.
yeah, and
So it became clear. This is a mode that, of course, if it's free to play, people play. But then you're gonna have to implement some anti-cheat, or it's gonna be frustrating. People are gonna abandon, or you get the middle ground where only one person in couple friends playing have to have the game.
yeah, I would agree with that. It won't be too bad. I mean, it's not like you're getting a lot out of Freelancer. It's kind of like
Ghost Mode.
Ghost Mode. It's kind of like like limited in its like little niche thing, and they could be quite like over quite quickly, and it is a
Yeah.
nice little taster for like getting into it. But
Yeah, and also because it was it's Hitman. It's a very hard concept to make competitive.
mm,
So they they've made a mode that actually was very interesting and very fun to play, but they didn't even have time to cross platform. They didn't have time to anything else because you it was mandatory for everybody involved to have the game.
yeah,
And after only a few days of Ghost Mode, it became clear to me and some of my friends, some people in the community, that the most fun way to play Ghost Mode at that point was friend versus friend.
yeah,
And imagine the amount of people that wanted to play with other friends that didn't have Hitman and they couldn't play with them. And okay, let's play Fortnite.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, I know exactly. That was always the annoyance for me, because I'd have the way I used to do it is I would do my usual silent assassin run, and then once that run finished, they were like, right, I then I was gonna come and kick my ass in ghost mode, but there was only a small selection of people. There was always people there that wanted to do it, but they're like, oh, I'm on PC or I'm on Xbox, and I kind of feel like that's what killed it. Because if more people could play with each other, I feel like it would have done better. But a lot of people were limited to playing with quite a small number, or trying to play with randoms, which was just absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Um, and not to mention that it was quite early on to like the peak of Hitman 2, where it hadn't quite reached the popularity where it's at right now. I kind of feel like if they'd have done something like Ghost Mode now, it would be absolutely booming, even if it was just on specific platforms. But
Yeah.
if you had that crossplay involved, it would be amazing. Like everyone would have been constantly active with Ghost Mode, and it's a shame, really, because I feel like if they'd have implemented it the right way at the right time, it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I kind of feel like it's a shame that they didn't give it a rethink and decide to come back with that, because it's all there, you know, just a tweak
Yeah.
here and a tweak there, and make it more accessible for everyone. And it would have been so good. It's a shame because it's a game mode that I was one of the first people to come out and say that Ghost Mode isn't working, and I think it should just be out because it's horrendous and put your efforts elsewhere. But then after we lost it, I completely did a 180 because I miss the old vibe of going up against people like viewers and things like that, and it had a special thing about it, and you don't know what that special thing was unless you were there doing it. Then it's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's something that could have worked, and I hope to see something in that regard, perhaps even for this trilogy.
Mm,
You know, like I said, either cross-platform or as is, or um, with only one person having to have the game, or a free-to-play mode, or you see how hard it is to buy the full thing still?
yeah,
You gotta buy five, six separate things to have the full thing, right? So if you don't want to give it away from free for free, put it a $5 price, and then if the person wants to buy the rest of the game, it's less if you already have Ghost Mode. I don't know. There are options. You just have to look at them.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely room for improvement there if that's something that they did want to rehash. I kind of feel like they sort of dived into that multiplayer arena, and they've just done like a complete 180 on that, thinking that yeah, maybe it's because you got to think that that's a multiplayer. That's money on servers, and they might have been absolutely burning money on that. Especially if there's not a lot of people playing it, then it is a bit of a waste. But I mean, where we're at right now, I mean, the game, like even now, we're starting to come to like this is like the beginning of the end now, really. But it's still really popular, and it's the most popular it's ever been. More popular now at the coming to the end of its life cycle than it ever was at the beginning of Hitman 2. That's for certain.
Yeah.
And I think like even now, if something like that came back and they tweaked it and made it better than what it was, I think right now something like Ghost Mode would do pretty well.
Yeah, because we are being optimistic. We are what, three, 3 to 4 years away from another Hitman game. at least. And I think it depends on how Project 007 will be received, and the Project Fantasy will be received.
Mm.
But if they go well, we might have another gap like we had from Blood Money to Absolution, which was over 6 years.
I think that gap will probably be a lot longer. A lot longer.
It depending on what happens with the especially with 007.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. But I think it's more the, I think it's about the longevity of the game now, of like kind of leaving it in a good state to the point where, because once I get to that point where Project 007 is close to that big announcement, this is when that Hitman is going to start fading out, and and then you're going to see 007 coming up, and you're going to see this game going down. And I think to get them last things in, like like the missed opportunity with something like Ghost Mode and the last few tweaks, and just get all of them things in place so that we can say, you know what, the game is in a good state right now. It doesn't need anything else. Let's just let it lie, and let's just be
Yeah.
excited for what's to come later down the line for Hitman.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
You
I'd
get,
like to see. I mean,
I would like to, if it was for me, besides the things that we said already, and the suggestions for Freelancer and all, I would like to see Ghost Mode back.
yeah.
In I if they cannot or don't want to make it a free mode, or only one person having the game purchased to play, but having that back, and having some sort of offline progression or this kind of thing.
I think that's pretty much the one last thing we need, because
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to, I mean, you've seen what it's like when the servers are down and you're playing it. There's no challenges. There's no. I mean, what do you lose? You lose a lot of well,
It doesn't even have a rating. When it's offline, you don't even have a rating.
yeah. There's no rating, so that's all of the Silent Assassin suit only runs out the window.
Yeah.
You're also losing a lot of content. I can't remember if it was some of the deadly sins. People have paid money for that. And when this game goes offline, all that content that everyone's bought is gone. Unless that's downloadable content, it's over. I'm pretty sure the
Mm.
Elusive Target Arcade is the same. I'm pretty sure you can't play that unless you're online. Yeah.
No, 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 you cannot play offline.
So, yeah.
Because if you fail, there's the 12 hours clock. You cannot play elusive targets offline as well. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
that's what I mean. There's a lot of. I imagine that they've probably got some sort of big plan that they are going to do for like an offline mode. More than anything, I want to just make sure that I'm still seeing that Silent Assassin rating popping at the end.
for PC we have Peacock, but what about consoles,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
So
What happens?
you lose all your content that you've bought.
No, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, probably not. But I don't know. This I know that they were saying early on about the offline thing. I imagine they've got some sort of plan. I think they're just waiting until they get close to the end of like, okay, we're getting all of this in. That's something that they're probably going to do for the last patch. I think the last patch will implement the offline only mode.
Yeah, that was always my theory, that the offline mode will be implemented in the last patch.
Yeah.
That was always my theory since 2016. But 2016 servers they're still on, which is a good sign.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm kind of
Yep.
I'm kind of surprised that they have done that actually, because I mean, really now, I mean, like 2016 is redundant, and like you can't even buy that game now,
You cannot buy anymore.
no, unless you already bought that before they transitioned into Hitman World
Oh,
of Assassination. You can't even buy that version of the game. I mean, you can get it on disc, but like digitally,
no,
you
no.
you yeah, it ain't happening. So unless you bought that on digital when it first came out, I'm pretty sure that's out the window now. Like that and Hitman 2 have both been made redundant for this trilogy. This was like their big ambition, everything under one roof.
Yeah.
So the
If I
fact that
was
the fact that the service
go
is
on.
still running on that I'm amazed at that actually.
Yeah. If I was going to coach somebody to enjoy the max that they can with since the reboot in 2016, I would say play get the Game of the Year edition of 2016 and play the whole thing. Played all the content, everything there, escalations, main missions, special missions. Play everything there in the Game of the Year edition of 2016.
Yeah,
Then you go for Hitman 2. Play including the missions from the legacy missions. Play everything again. And the new ones, right, from Hitman 2. And then you go to Hitman 3 and do all over again because those are three different experiences,
oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
you know. It's really worth to play Hitman 2016.
yeah,
If
like
if you're starting now.
I think
If
like
you're starting now, it's really worth it.
in its original form, I think that would really show people how much the game's transitioned into what it is now. Because
Yeah.
2016 was a completely different game to what we're playing right now, and I mean that game was a lot more. I mean that was probably the hardest Hitman in terms of the trilogy. Uh,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and then obviously Hitman 2. Don't know. I still got a lot of love for like Hitman 2, even though it had its issues. Hitman 2 was a completely different experience, but then we move into Hitman 3, and just to see some of the further improvements of like, can you like remember like how slow 47 used to climb pipes and ledges compared to like how fast he is now, and seeing them little improvements that have been made over the years, it's crazy. And I remember I went back to play Hitman 2 and I started climbing the pipe and I was like looking at my watch like fucking hell, what's going on here?
That's why I say that right now it's the peak of it.
Yeah,
The fluidity, right? You pick up items and you don't stop to pick it up them anymore. You pick it up on the go. So there is the agility. All agility is refined and faster and more fluid.
yeah,
It was dump it down a little in some aspects because now you can shoot with instinct. You couldn't before.
mm,
It's not, it is what it is. It's their decision on the balancing of the games.
yeah,
But like I said, I would if I had to coach somebody, I would say play the Game of the Year edition of 2016, play Hitman 2, and the Hitman 1 missions too in the Hitman 2 as well, and then play Hitman 3. Because three different experiences and they are all worth it.
yeah. I think you can't appreciate where the game's at now unless you've done it that way.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can enjoy it, but you miss it out.
Yeah,
Let's say.
you'll sort of like you'll miss that evolutionary
Yeah,
period. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd agree. Where we at? Do you reckon we've covered everything? I did want to jump into contracts mode, but I kind of feel like I've got a big discussion planned for that maybe we'll keep that separate for the next one too.
Sure, sure. I need to get back on playing contracts too because it's been a hot minute.
Aye.
So I'll play some contracts before we do that.
Yeah. All right, sorted then. Right, well, thank you for joining me, Mendy. I appreciate you. It's always good.
Thank you for having me, man.
Always good to have a chat with you. And yeah, and thanks for anyone else that's still watching on YouTube when this premieres. Are you looking at the description below? I'll have Mendy's Twitch channel and YouTube channel there. If you don't know the guy, he's a Hitman legend. Go check him out. I'm a bit of alright as well, and I'll see you on the next episode. Everyone, take it easy. Goodbye.
Bye bye. Thank you.